Matt Lenihan Boxing Social in association with Empire Fight Store and our Kings. We're here, Frank Warren, in what I must say is, I think, possibly my favourite venue now in the UK. Stunning venue.
Europe. Yeah. In Europe, best venue in Europe.
Yeah, absolutely. And what an event we've just come from on Saturday. It feels like I haven't slept since then. To come off the back of it and with this announcement.
Sleep is for dreamers.
Sleep is for dreams, absolutely. To come off the back of that event with this announcement, heavy impact, Whyte, Joyce, just to name the main event. You must be buzzing to kickstart this schedule on DAZN.
Yeah, we're delighted that we start in April and we're kicking off with a big heavy duty night, heavy impact, and we will make an impact, and these guys will make an impact. You just said the main event there, and it's a crossroad fight for both of them. You know, these guys are veterans and they're looking for their one big last hurrah, getting a shot at the title, and this is the way forward for them to do it. These two guys, they're looking to make a statement. The winner will go on. I don't know where the loser will go at their age. I always say it's not the end of the world for a loser, but this is a real tough fight, and they'll give it their all. We just had a great fight on Saturday night with a veteran in Derek Chisora, who pulled, in a very entertaining fight, a good quality fight. I think you're going to get the same with these. And then you've got the two cruiserweights coming up. Yeah. And you look at that, with Lawrence Okoli, he made a statement in his last fight. He hasn't got to worry about making the weight. I've always believed sometimes with cruiserweights and they got the other weight division now, whatever they call it. Bridgeweight. But I always believe with these guys that it is, and I look at the size of him. First of all, I don't know how he made the weight, but I look at him and I think to myself, now you've got no worries. You haven't got to worry about, am I going to be blowing after, so many rounds? Am I going to do the 12 rounds? It's killing me to make the weight. You haven't got to worry about that shit now. And he showed that in his last fight. He showed that. And you look at Riakporhe coming up with him. And there's no love lost. We know that. It's not nonsense. There's no love lost between them. This is a cracker of a fight. And can they emulate and follow the likes of Usyk, David Haye, Evander Holyfield? Great fights, great fighters who've done the business coming up. Can they do that?
What I like is there's a narrative. Even with David Adelaide and Jamie TKV, you look at that and that's basically a fight to say, look, who's going on to that next level with your Fabio Wardleys? Who's going to jump into that group? And that is such a good fight.
Of course it is. And this heavyweight division is brilliant. And Queensberry are blessed. I think out of the top 15, probably 13 of them are under our umbrella. So these fights will get made. We're making them happen. It's the home of heavyweight boxing at Queensberry. And for Usyk, who's not with us, these are the opponents. Yeah. For him to defend his title again. Yeah. The mandatories, they're all being guided, all put into positions. So he's going to have to defend those belts down the road. And as you said, David Adelaide on there made a statement last time. Delicious, or he's making his debut on the title. What a fantastic heavyweight card.
I'm going to say all action, but there's not just that's been announced. Kakachi and Leigh Wood, what an absolute banger of a fight.
A barn burner of a fight. That is two Brits, well known, and there's nothing better than two Brits fighting each other in a fight like that. And Anthony's made such a statement since he's got serious. And I'm not telling stories out of school. He's got serious and made a statement as a world-class fighter, a great world champion, and he's going into the other guy's backyard. Leigh is a competitor. It's a barn burner of a fight and a fabulous undercard.
What do you make of, obviously, I think I spoke to Eddie in Vegas regarding him, and he's obviously big on the Sugar Nunes fight. I know you two get on a little bit now, but at this stage of Kakachi's career, is it more about putting the money in the bank rather than the belts for him?
I think it's a bit of both, really. He's got a belt. It's the IBO belt. But it's about a fight where he can make some money, and it's about a fight which is great for the fans. I'm not saying Nunes wouldn't be, but what would you much rather see?
Oh, Leigh Wood fight.
There you go. And it's the same with me. And it's the same for these two guys. You've got to take your hats off to them for signing up to do this fight. Yeah. It's a great fight. And that place will be like here where we're standing for this fight. It will be rocking.
Yeah. I want to ask you, the signing of Josh Taylor, new weight, new promoter, and he'll want another crack at a world title. And what a fight, Echo Esserman. He'll come and bring it.
Look, boxing news, 3 best fights of the year. Esso Ekman was number 2 and number 3. Yeah. Those 2 fights were unbelievable fights. He comes to fight. He wants it. He wants it back. This ain't no walkover. This has competition, competitiveness all over it. These are top quality fights. Unbelievable fights, and Scotland's going to love it.
I feel like we haven't been to Scotland since Taylor Catterall, and it's been long overdue. How excited are you to get everyone back up there, because they've got some passionate fans?
I'm absolutely excited about it. I'm excited that, we've made quite a few signings. There's going to be some really good fights on that card as well. I mean, it's a really, really exciting time for British boxing, Scottish boxing, Welsh boxing. We're announcing something soon as well. Some really, really, really exciting nights coming up.
I've got to say, if you as a promoter, we've said this before, you've seen everything, but I think you're going through this sort of period now where we're seeing the signings coming through again, that next evolution of fighters. You must be now. Does that sort of give you that new lease of life and say, look, we're going again, look at all these fighters coming through?
It's about building blocks.
Yes.
It didn't happen overnight. We made a conscious decision with the heavyweights. We invested in heavyweights. Like, for example, Daniel Dubois, we invested in him a long, long time ago. Moses, all these guys. And now the other fighters are looking to see where it's happening, and they're coming on board with us, because we are delivering in big time for them.
Well, look, what struck me was Charles Martin coming out with the Moses Atauma.
Yeah.
What a fight that would be.
A world champion calling out him. An ex-world champion, but calling out he's a teenager a month
Still a
ago.
baby, isn't he?
Yeah, that's what he was. But a great young prospect. Everybody agrees on that. I love it, and it's just exciting times. Good fights. It's not the end of the world if you lose a fight. No. It's how you lose it, and about coming back. These are great times for world boxing, but for British boxing, we are flying.
I've got to ask you, we're not too long away from the Saudi Arabia card, one of the best cards I've ever seen. I can't wait to be there. Your man, Daniel Dubois, obviously, against Joseph Parker. I think this is such a good fight. Honestly, I've been buzzing for this since it got made. What are the conversations you've been having with Daniel? Because in the face-offs, you can see this. He's got this new swagger about him, no matter what you want to call it, but he seems to have this air of confidence of, I will not be beat no matter what.
I absolutely agree with that. I don't mean it's being disrespectful. He's mentally grown into it. He's grown into it. The confidence is there. There's a swagger about him. He's not being intimidated by anybody. He's matured mentally, physically. His last 3 fights, or his last 4 fights, he went into an underdog in every one of those fights. He gave Usyk a lot of problems, and I'm not going to go into the controversy.
No, but that on another day, that could have been him getting his hand raised.
Correct. And the 3 fights after that, they all thought, they all got these visions of him. This fella's, he's going to be a quitter, which he's not been. I've believed in him from day one, and he's shown what he's all about. And that good win he had over Miller, very good win over him. Well. And in the last round, which says a lot about him. And then the great win he had with what's his name?
Not Joshua.
No, yeah.
Oh,
Hrgović, yeah, great. I am 94. Hrgović, he had. That was a fabulous win. Those first 3 rounds were tough rounds, and he came through them and done a job. He broke Hrgovic's heart. He did, no doubt about it. And then obviously going in as a big underdog against AJ, who was on a roll, had about 3 or 4 wins under his belt.
Back to back.
Yeah, and went in there and done a job. He won every round. Mm-hmm. Every round from the first round. Wasn't intimidated in any way, and it looked like he was the veteran.
Mm-hmm. Is he one of your biggest success stories throughout all your years of promoting? The fact that he's had them lows, but he had a lot of criticism, but he's picked himself back up, and he's top dog now. He's the guy with the belts, along with Usyk.
I defended him because I thought some of it was very fierce. The injury sustained against Joyce, which was a tough fight, by the way.
Yeah.
That injury was a bad injury, and had he carried on, detached retina all over. That is a fact. The retina was torn, and he had the fractures to his eye socket, and the right thing happened there. And obviously the win against Usyk, he's Usyk, and he gave Usyk a lot of problems. And I'm not going to go into that again, but I didn't think that was a low blow. But anyway, that doesn't matter now. That rematch, provided he comes through in a tough fight, and it is a tough fight he's got against Joe Parker. Joe Parker's on a roll as well.
Yes.
He's revitalised his career. Former world champion, he's got wealth of experience. This is a tough fight. But if he comes through that, boom, another unification.
Frank Warren, I appreciate your time. Looking forward to this schedule live on DAZN, the home of boxing at the minute, and long may it continue.
It is the home to boxing, you know. That's where we are, DAZN. That's where you've got to be. You want to see some serious boxing on TV.
Frank, appreciate your time.